Okay, welcome everybody. This is the finals of the 3-on-3 tournament between Card Disadvantage and Der Verlorene at our Haufen. The European team is on the bottom, represented by Ryan Stark, and Card Disadvantage is at the top, represented by Dawid Malnarowicz. This is going to be best out of 5. Wait, what have we got here? Okay, so Ryan is going to play first. So the way this works, it's best out of 5 because as I'm just looking at, this is Ryan's hand now. This is going to be a team of mirror. Because Der Verlorene at Haufen, which I'll just call the European team to make it easier, they finished on top, so they get to choose first. You can see the confiscation coup. I'd be curious to see if that stays in. It's the long toss card from Ryan in turn 2 play. I suspect that these are going to be quite slow and grindy matches. That confiscation coup might be just a good tempo swing later on. So we just see what. Look at Ryan. He's got his 3rd land drop and he's got the attune to hit the 4th. David on the play now matches the long tusk cub. But you can see here the difference between being on the play. So Ryan's going to be able to, if he wants to, he can remove the long tusk cub with his harness lightning and just get in and just keep the tempo up. We're just looking at, this is going to be very confusing with the cards down the bottom. So this is David's hand. So I'll switch back to Ryan, who's on the play. Yeah, so he's going to go with that play there. He's a card short of playing the Glory Bringer. Long Tusk Cub going to be able to get in here with the extra energy from the Harness Lightning. So it's going to be a 4/4 next turn. Just 3 damage for now. Back to Daryl now. What can Daryl come up? Not Daryl, I keep calling him Daryl, because Dactyl is his name. David. Or Dawid, I'm going to call him David. Malnarowicz. He's got the Rogue Refiner to play here, or he could go the Servant of the Conduit to ensure that he plays the Bristling Hydra next turn. He doesn't really have the energy for Will of Virtuoso. So Long Tusk is going to be a 4/4 next turn. I'm just looking at the Discord. You can see that the Der Verlorene at Haufen, they're all on Discord together watching this match. But it looks like only Felix is actually watching, so I'm not sure what the others are doing here. Okay, so he's going for the more long-term plan. Servant's going to be able to mean he can play the Will of Virtuoso next turn and make 2 Thopters rather than 1. And it gives him that 4th land for the Hydra. So we just look at David now on the play. But you can see just watching this match the advantage of playing first. It does mean that playing he plays first, But post sideboard, he's possibly going to play first again if David can win the next match. That's assuming that he takes this one. He can now pump that long toss cub twice, as the Rogue Refiner finds him the 5th land for Glorybringer. Just telegraphing this one forward, you'd think David will probably take a Glorybringer with his Confiscation coup, but then the second Glorybringer can come down and remove the first one. So it's tempo really on the side here of Ryan at the moment. So I'll just switch back to David's hand for a moment. He does have options next turn, and he can even use the commit memory to bounce that long tusk cub, which would remove all the energy counters that he's managed to apply. There might be a bit of a delay here because these are actually two European players, one German, one Polish, as you can see from the flags, playing on a US server. As after a bit of a delay, in comes the long tusk cub. See if it gets any pumps here. I don't think we'll see any blocks. At least one pump. Sorry, I'll put Ryan's hand on. Oh, that is Ryan's hand. So he's got a Will of choice though. So he might not want to pump it too much because, well, he pumps it twice. So he's one short now of getting 2 Thopters with the Virtuoso. As the long tusk cub's a real beating now, a 5-5. David could take the turn off here just to bounce it with commit memory next turn. Okay, yeah, and the attack, so he gets the 2 energy for the Thopters. So what's the play here? David's on the play. You can see he's got his can he take, he can actually take that if he wants to. Yeah, he could use Confiscation coup and take the long tusk cub if he wanted. We'll see if so I think he's either he can bounce the long tusk cub with the commit memory, or he can actually take it with the Confiscation coup. If he chooses to take it, it would be like it would be larger than what a Glorybringer could take down. So see what is. I think he's just considering which line he wants to take here. I don't think he can. He can't. He's on 12 lives, so he can't keep taking the beating from the long tusk cub. Yeah, so he's going to take it. I think that's the play I would have gone for as well. When you look at Tima and their removal suite, I don't think they really have much that can get rid of that now. Harness Lightning could feasibly be cast for 7 from Ryan. So he can make the long tusk cover 6/6. So where does Ryan go from here? 2, 4, 5. He can actually get him to 9. He can play the Glorybringer, would put him to 5. Yeah, I think you just keep up the pressure if you're Ryan. Glorybringer, back-to-back Glorybringers will get the job done. David needs a... Oh, there's a Harness Lightning, so this is going to make it interesting. Just checking David. Yeah, David's got a Will of Virtuoso, so he can create a chump blocker for that Glorybringer if he wanted. Although the Exert would remove the blocker. So the play here is either Glorybringer or Harness Lightning, I believe. The Long Tusk can only be made into a 6/6. Harness Lightning, you get 3, so he would use all his energy bar 1 to take down the Cub. But the Cub would go to a 7 next turn on the attack. Or he could just try and race him. Yeah, he's going to try and race. I think that's a line I would take as well. Because actually, when the Glorybringer attacks, the Exert trigger goes on the stack, so Whirl of Virtuoso can wait for the Exert trigger to fizzle, and yeah, he's going to take down the servant of the Exert. Next turn, Whirl of Virtuoso can wait for the Exert trigger to fizzle, and then create the Thopter to block. It's dangerous times. There's lethal on board here. This is a tough one. With 4 mana, he can commit memory the Glorybringer. He doesn't know about the other Glorybringer in hand, so he would just be dead to that. He doesn't have the 5th land to play his own Glorybringer, or he can go defensive with the Whirl of Virtuoso. Bristling Hydra and Rogue Refiner are not attractive plays at the moment, although the Glorybringer is exerted, so it's not getting in next turn. So from David's perspective, he's not facing down lethal yet. We know that there's a Glorybringer in hand for Ryan. So here, unless well, is it Ryan if he plays this? No, he can't play the Harness Lightning and the Glorybringer. From David's side, David's actually dead unless he plays... No, he would survive a hit. I was going to say, he can survive a hit from the Glorybringer next. So yeah, this is a really tough decision here. He takes, if he expects another Glorybringer, or he suspects another Glorybringer, he takes 4. Oh, okay, when Eric Helden is watching. So the whole team is there watching. Okay, so this play allows him to get in with the Long Tusk Cub, because the Hydra can check the Rogue Refiner. But he is, if he He just has to be careful how he manages this, because Ryan could take that Bristling Hydra on the swing back. Because 20. He's got 9 power. He could feasibly set up a position here if he activates Cub twice, where he actually has the lethal swing back next turn. So this is a pretty tense finish coming here. If he makes two counters, makes it a 7/7, puts him to 13, then he's got 11 damage on the board next turn. What's going on here? I think that's a... I don't know why he's doing that on the Bristling Hydra. I think there's a misplay there. Either that or he doesn't understand how the hexproof works. Oh, now he's in big trouble. Oh no, he's going to get the 2 points. I was going to say he's putting a counter on the long tusk cub. Bristling Hydra has to... He might not have known there that he could do that in response. I suspect he's doing that to protect against an exert. So he may not have known he can do that in response to the exert trigger. We'll see what Ryan draws for the turn. He's got a couple of options he could go to here. No viable attacks. Harness Lightning could take down the long tusk cub if he wanted to do that. Okay. Yeah, so one option here is he could whirl a Virtuoso, yep, and have the Harness Lightning. He has 4. This is going to put him to 7 energy. The only problem on David's side of the board here is he doesn't have flyers. And he's dead to next turn to a Glory Bringer that's going to come down. He knows that Glory Bringer is going to untap next turn. Ryan's in a position now where he can make multiple chump blockers. So David's going to untap. You can see he's got a Glory Bringer here. So I think he's just dead. Unless he plays that Commit Memory. Okay, see what he draws for the turn. A Toon. That'll get him his 5th land. Yeah, he's only got 1 line here. No, actually, Whirl of Virtuoso is another option he has. I think he can attune, get his 5th land, and then Whirl of Virtuoso to create the chump blockers. Okay, now what's the play here? If he creates the Whirl of Virtuoso, then he can keep putting pressure with the Cub and the Hydra. But he knows for sure he's facing at least 1 Glory Bringer, and this Virtuoso is going to make it possibly two Thopters next turn. So he definitely needs something to stop. Even if he commit memory on the Glorybringer, he would still be dead because the two Thopters with Ryan's Glorybringer would be enough to do it. So he knows, just looking at his options here, Rogue Refiner is not an option. He can't play the Glorybringer, so he's tossing up between Commit Memory and Whirl of Virtuoso. Commit Memory, I suspect he has to be looking at the Glorybringer because otherwise he's dead. He can see the 7 energy, the Virtuoso is going to make 2. So he's staring down 3 damage. This is quite a tough decision, but when we have the advantage of being able to see cards, we can see that he has to play the Whirl of Virtuoso or he's dead. I'm not sure if he actually has any help here from Oliver or Michael. Okay, so he's moved to combat. There must have been a little bit of lag there. He's going to keep up the pressure, is it? Okay, so he's committed to the Whirl of Virtuoso line here. I gave him his medicine already. Yeah, and then so there's a Whirl of. Oh no, that's actually Ryan making a Thopter in response. So Ryan just making the chump block line here. So now we're back to the tough decision, which one he wants to make. He just passes the turn. Okay, that's very unusual. He doesn't make a play. Oh, commit memory is an instant. So he's gone with the commit option. I believe he's just dead on board now. Even if he commit and bounce the Glorybringer, Bristling Hydra can check the Rogue Refiner. Will a Virtuoso and a Thopter will get in for 3 minimum. Just waiting for Ryan here. Ryan gonna harness lightning at the end of the turn. This is a big harness lightning here. I think he's trying to entice him to use up some of that energy. Oh no, so I think he'll be doing it for 1, so he can make 2 Thopters. What happened there? Oh, okay, so he did the 4 to finish off the Long Tusk Cub. And David doesn't add a counter in response. So he uses the Hydra to block the Rogue Refiner, uses to commit memory to bounce the Glorybringer. So he's just dead here to as I'll switch to Ryan's hand. He's just dead to the Glorybringer. Yep, and that should be game. Game 1 will go to Ryan and Team Der Verlorene Atter Haufen. My poor pronunciation will take quite a long game 1. So now they go to sideboard, but they're straight back into it because there's no sideboarding in the first game. David will try and pull. You can see a Spell Pierce main deck there, so there's probably going to be a few changes. Looking at David's hand, 1, 2. I think it's playable. He keeps his hand. Yep, a bit awkward with using the hub for the blue mana. Ryan mulligans here. Again, only a 1 lander. Think you got a mulligan here. Oh, he's going to keep. He's taking the risky route, keeping the 1 lander. Daryl on. I keep calling him Daryl. David on the play first. It's a mountain and a pass to the turn. So we'll see if Ryan can find the second land here. He does. But the colours are a bit awkward. He can't play Long Tusk Cub turn 2. And he can't play Essence Scatter. But at the moment, David has no turn 2 threat. He'll play the Ether Hub just to hold up Essence Scatter. But he's going to be in an awkward position next turn if he doesn't draw a blue source. Ryan's draw another Harness Lightning. So a blue source here, because then, no, he doesn't get it again, so his mana's a bit stretched here. I think he's got to play underneath a Will of Virtuoso so that he can get the energy. Yep. What's Ryan gonna find? 2, 4, 6, 7. He really needs to find a green source here. Oh, sorry, a blue source. He doesn't. So he'll play out the long tusk cub. David has a magma spray for that. So now it's over to David to try and draw the land he needs. There's the blue source. Okay. What does he do here? Does he keep the pressure up with the Hydra? Or does he magma spray that long tusk cub? He's going to take the safe option, magma spray the long tusk cub. He can still hold up a harness lightning and an essence scatter. So David's well positioned in this match. Oh, that's a bit aggressive, I think. It is going to... He does have the harness lightning for whatever the threat is next. So he's going to get in for 2 here. So switch back to Ryan. Ryan is just a blue source away from sort of getting going here. But tempo is going to be an issue. There's his blue source. Okay, what's he going to do here? Possibly Rogue Refiner? He'd be aware that David's on 4 mana, so there's potential for another big threat to come down next turn. The Rogue Refiner just to get the card draw, check the threat. If David can get, I think if he can get to sideboards at 1-1, he'd be pretty happy. So he wastes no time there making a Thopter. Actually, no, that's David. Sorry, he made the Thopter. So back to his turn. So he's keeping up the aggressive route here. So he must be going Harness Lightning this turn, which I think is the play. Harness Lightning down the Rogue Refiner so you can get in a 5 and then hold up Essence Scatter. And I think he's on the home straight. Still, he can actually make another Thopter with the Harness Lightning here. Because he's only going to harness for 2. Oh, he's got the 3 energy anyway. Yep, so he's going to keep the pressure on here. Harness Lightning down the Rogue Refiner. Ryan's going to take 5 damage here. Just looking at Ryan's hand, how's he going to get out of this? He does have the removal. I think he probably wants to draw another, definitely another untapped land source next turn, so he can keep up Essence Scatter and Harness Lightning down a Virtuoso, which he doesn't get, so that's tough. Bristling Hydra is going to give him some chump blockers. And to also just check one of those virtuosos. Does he want to essence scatter this? Daryl can. Just to keep the pressure up here. He does, yep. So another 5 damage coming in next turn. Ryan will drop to 8. But Ryan with 6 cards in hand, David's down to 1. Does he make another Thopter here? No. I think he's thinking, oh, that's a handy pickup as well. So all the cards falling here for David this turn, this game, as he's looking good to tie this up. Unfortunately, there's nothing to check on the other side with Magma Spray. Just look at Ryan's hand. Yeah, the Virtuosos are outside of Magma Spray range. So I'll keep it on Ryan's hand because we know David's last card is a Magma Spray. So that Bristling Hydra represents lethal on board next turn. And David with the possibility of making 2 Thopters here. He's going to go with the Attune first, so he's going to find that much needed land, but we'll see if it's too late here. What can he play out? Yeah, Virtuoso to make some chump blockers. Magma Spray can actually check that chumper. So Virtuoso is just going to be a chump blocker here. A minor point, but he probably... yeah, he can make 2 actually. Okay. Okay, so see what David's draw is for the turn. Just a land. I don't really see how he can lose this from here if he manages this correctly. Does he Magma Spray down a Thopter before blocks? That's probably the question. One of them has to chump block the Bristling Hydra, that's for sure. Okay, so here come the chumpers. He could put a Wheel Virtuoso and a Thopter in front of another Wheel Virtuoso to take one down. Then he'd be taking 3, assuming the other Thopter blocks the Bristling Hydra. So I think David's got to let him declare blocks here. There's the chump block. Yeah, and then I think we'll see a double block. Yeah, okay. So that'll take down a Virtuoso, but he doesn't know about the Magma Spray. The question for David is, does he want to save his Virtuoso? Because he could actually just take this damage and use the magma spray to finish off Ryan's Virtuoso. The other thing he has to be wary of, there's 4 mana up for Ryan with 5 cards in hand, so he's in a position where he can almost stabilize. I think he's just deciding where he wants to put this magma spray. As we just look at Ryan's hand, see what he's got as a follow-up here. He does have 2 Harness Lightnings. But Bristling Hydra is still a problem. He can actually remove the Hydra. Now, this is going to be interesting. What's he going to magma spray? Okay, so he's happy to trade Virtuosos here. Well, he could split... Yeah, I was going to say, he can split the damage 1 each. That's a nice play. So he cues them so that he gives the Thopter the damage first. And he gets a 2-for-1 there. So, what is the play here? Lethal damage on board. He can remove the Hydra, but he would be dead to the Virtuoso with the Thopter. This is very tough here for Ryan. He knows of it as we do that David's out of cards. He needs something to stop the Hydra. I think his only play here is the Virtuoso. That's the only thing he can do. Yep. He probably really wanted to find another land there. So he's got 1 Thopter. Passes the turn. What can... David can make 2 Thopters here. Assume he blocks that, so he'd be taking 3. I don't think there's any way out of this for Ryan. Does David make 2 Thopters here? I think it's risky because he wants to hold up 3 for the Bristling Hydra. Yeah, he's going to hold up for the Bristling Hydra. Is that a braid? I think it's not quite dead. He'd take 3. He braids down the Virtuoso now. Virtuoso makes a Thopter to block the Hydra. He's going to take 3 from the Virtuoso and the Thopter. Yep, so again, this is going much like we saw in game 1, where the tempo from the person on the play makes the difference here. Also, we have to remember Ryan kept a 1 lander. And stalled, not being able to find that blue source. But Daryl has, again I apologize, David has played this well and just maintaining the tempo, just keeping up the threats, making sure there's constant pressure on. So Ryan's dropping to 2. I can't think of any way out of this for Ryan. I don't think there's a card in his deck that can save him here. Well, I think we'll see a concession here. Means a Servant can block a Bristling Hydra, he can harness lightning down the Whirl of Virtuoso, but yeah, he's conceding now, so we're going to sideboards. So 1-1 as we head into sideboards. So we have it's best of 5 sideboarding, and we're going to see quite a few changes. So just while they sideboard, I'm just going to go and quickly check something. Okay, I think this is going to be the slowest out of the 3 formats. We've got the slowest one first up. Modern, Felix plays a very fast 4-color humans, and it's going to be a mirror match. 4 or 5 color humans, I think it's 5 colors. They tend to go very quickly, and Legacy is going to be Death and Taxes, and I forget which Legacy deck Eric is playing. That might not be that format might not be required, depending on how results go. But in this match, you can see the full power, and this is allowed in the team series. You're allowed to consult with your teammates, and we're seeing the full power of Verlorene Haufen. I'm on the Discord channel. They're all on a channel together to discuss this match and probably going over sideboard options. And the podcast is coming out on Monday, where I actually interviewed all 3 of the players. And they took this quite seriously with testing and so on, so that they're very well prepared for this match. They'll know what they're bringing in and what they've seen. Okay, we're back at it. It will be Ryan on the play. Ryan at the bottom of the screen here. Just see, that's his hand we're looking at now. He's keeping that. And we'll see David. I think he'll keep this as well. He's got an attune with Ether to fix it. We see the Chandra there. We didn't see that in the first 2 matches. And a Confiscation Coup, so he's set up alright. Just waiting for Daryl for some reason. We just have to be aware of the time here. 36 minutes still. And he's on.
Sophie, can you come here for a second and help me, please? Hey.
So just waiting for Ryan. I don't know if there's some lag here. Okay, so he fires off the shuttle ticket and passes a turn. Unfortunately here he has to attune for a forest. Although he's going to still have the Ether Hub to get the second red for Chandra. But it is going to stretch him later on for the Confiscation Coup. And Ryan, I think it'll be turn 2/7 of the Conduit. So interesting to see what role. Oops, what did I do there? For David when he's on the draw. So he's playing more reactively. Does he? Does he abrade that servant? He does, yep. I think just because he's off his counterspell comes in turn 3. He can't allow turn 4 play. It could be a Bristling Hydra this turn. It's a Rogue Refiner for Ryan. You can see no removal spells or counter spells for Ryan, but for David, sorry again, he needs the protection for Chandra. So I think he's got to run out his own Rogue Refiner here, just to act as a foil for Chandra next turn. His other option was to do nothing and hold up Supreme Will. That was also an option. He could have Supreme Willed the next turn and then cast Chandra and -2 to take down the Rogue Refiner, and it would have been Chandra on a clean board. The threat here always for Chandra though is as you can see, Ryan here's been the aggressor this time. He's on the play, so he's gonna take the more aggressive role. I think you can't block if you're David. You need that Refiner to protect the Chandra. Okay. That's gonna make it difficult if Ryan has a follow-up play, which he does. You see, the Whirl of Virtuoso with 3 Thopters is just going to kill Chandra on the spot. And so I don't believe David doesn't really have a viable turn 4 play now. I would be inclined here to play my forest, cast a tune, and pass the turn with Supreme Will up. That way you could find yourself either counter the next spell or find a threat. But for Teema, without a board wipe, 3 Thopters, if Ryan chooses to take that path, is going to be very difficult to deal with. Well, because I think Servant is... Servant is kind of a dead play here. We'll switch back to Ryan's hand. Yeah, Ryan's going the full aggressive route here. 3 Thopters coming in. Because he can get in for 5 next turn. And he can actually play out both his Servant and his Whirl of Virtuoso. We did see a Magma Spray from David in game 2, I believe it was. So there's a possibility here he could be representing a block with the Servant on the Whirler and a Magma Spray to finish the job. But as we can see hands, we know he doesn't have that line. Yeah, that's David's cards that we're looking at now. We switch back to Ryan. Ryan can actually dump both his threats if he wishes. Does he play out the other whirler? I think you do. You got to adopt the role that David took on the play in this matchup and just be the aggressor. You look at that board; it's enormous compared to David's, and David's Chandra here does not look very good. It's basically just going to be a 4-mana removal spell. And this is a spot where I think last turn Supreme Will, it could have either countered that Whirl of Virtuoso, or he could have dug for a Glory Bringer that would take down the Virtuoso. Because he's going to take an absolute hammering the next turn. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 minimum is coming in. Yeah, if Ryan wants to be super aggressive, he could make another Thopter here. Although one line that's open for David is to use the Confiscation Coup to take a Whirl of Virtuoso, and then he's got... It'd cost him 3, so it'd leave him with 6. Yeah, he's going to take that line. He'd have 10. He can make 3 Thopters of his own. So this match just got interesting. Okay, so he's got his... Now Chandra on to in the next turn looks more appealing. As we see what Ryan can find. Okay, Ryan's going to keep up the aggression here, making another Thopter. He can't find anything, but a turn is going to enable him to make his 5th Thopter. This is quite an entertaining and evenly poised match. One thing, I generally play more control decks. Some sort of a sweeper would just be a beating here, but neither deck obviously plays it. I wonder, as a kind of a teamer noob, if you could play Sweltering Suns when you're on the draw. Because you look at Daryl here, he could have, instead of playing that Confiscation Coup, Sweltering Suns and wiped the board. So what's his play here? Okay, we're joined by Michael Una. He's up next in the Modern Mirror. Actually, yeah, it's just dawned on me. Both standard and modern are mirror matches in the finals. So you can see David's making 3 Thopters. We're looking at Ryan's hand at the bottom. He's all out. He's land flooded. David not much better, although Supreme Will's going to be able to find him a threat. And he does have Chandra. So this is going to use his energy. Clear those Thopters out. He's only going to take 1, so Ryan can make 1 more Thopter here. I gave him the medicine with the cheese, and he eat the cheese and then spat the medicine out.
Maybe he didn't wrap properly,
Mm.
then we'll wrap it very tight.
But then I gave it with peanut butter, and he wolfed it down super fast. He likes the peanut butter.
Can you take out the shirt?
No.
Where's the shirt?
Oh, actually, I did. Yeah.
I said my screen.
Okay, another confiscation coup. But it's not as appealing this time because he doesn't have the energy to use it. I think it's downstairs, wee wee. So he's just considering. I suspect he's thinking about Chandra. I don't actually mind Chandra on this board because you can tick her up to 5. It'd probably force Ryan to use the 2 Thopters to put pressure on Chandra, but he still has a supreme will to check them. He does have the second mountain, yeah, so I think Chandra's a play here. Just has to be careful how I think the forest and an ether hub. Because he can still tap the ether hub for the, if he finds a magma spray off Chandra. Chandra's a big play, it's going to be a huge card advantage. So David's actually looking pretty good here, I think. Particularly with that Supreme Will. See what he finds off Chandra. That's very appealing. I think he almost uses it to shoot down a Thopter. Yeah, use it to shoot down a Thopter. Get the spare 2 energy, and then you can... Oh, but he's going to need to use red from the ether hub. So he'll be too short. But he does need some way to check the Thopter. Yeah, I think you still use it to shoot down the Thopter because then Chandra ticks 1. He didn't use it, okay. I don't know about that. I would have shot down that Thopter because then each tick up of Chandra is just going to check the Thopter. I don't think there's any viable attacks here, just hold back. Yeah. The only thing checking him is he needs some way to deal with the Thopters. Or to get energy so that he can make his own. Another land. I was going to say Glorybringer would be a blowout. I think if this program had that advantage bar, I'd be putting it... Even though these Thopters are unchecked, I'd still be putting the advantage bar in with David because he's got that confiscation coup and a supreme will to find something. But I think that was a miss not using the harness lightning to take a Thopter. Or at least to take down a Virtuoso if you're not interested in the Thopters, because... See what David can draw for the turn here. Just a land. Three, 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, I think you tick up Chandra and then pass the turn. What's he going to find of Chandra this time? Or Rogue Refiner, that might be appealing. Yep, he's going to take that one. And then just hold the Supreme Will. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, is it Supreme Will 3 or 4? It's 3. 5. Oh, so Ryan can actually pay for the Supreme Will here anyway, if he has a Glory Bringer. What does he find off the Rogue Refiner? Now that the Rogue Refiner is going to enable him to... I'd keep that for cycling. Rogue Refiner is going to enable him to make a Thopter to check one of those Thopters. Full control. So what can Ryan do? Ryan being severely land flooded here. 2, 4. Surely his bad luck with land draws is going to run out here. No, it's not going to run out. This is very unlucky. See if the Thopter is made in response here. Because if he had used that Harness Lightning earlier, then Chandra would be on the board with virtually unchallenged. Oh, he's just taking the damage. I don't get that. I think Chandra is your win condition. Okay, in turn, what's he going to do? He can either cycle or Supreme Will here. He's going to cycle first. That will be handy. That's a big draw. How's he doing now? Oh, Servant of the Conduit. Okay, so he can do both. But that means... Oh, so he gave up the option of creating a Thopter to protect Chandra just so he can cast both on the same turn. So I'll see what he finds here. A Glimmer. Okay, so it looks like he's had quite a transformational sideboard here, bringing in a more of a control package. And a Hydra, so the threats are starting to come now. He can play both Hydra and Glimmer here if he wishes. But you tick up Chandra first, I think. Oh, he's getting super aggressive. I don't know if I like this line, to be honest. And on top of that, he's tapped his mana in such a way that he has to use Servant for his blue source for Essence Scatter. But I think this line, it doesn't really make sense because it's as if he's decided 3 turns after taking damage to Chandra that those Thopters need to be dealt with, when he could have had them off the board 2 or 3 turns ago. He's going to tick Chandra up now. revealing a Torrential Gearhulk. Now that's, I think, a pretty big misplay. He should have ticked the Chandra first. He could have played the Gearhulk. Now he needs to keep the Essence Scatter. He's going to get on the front foot now. He's offering a trade of the Conduit for the Rogue Refiner. And Ryan will take that one. So what can Ryan do this time? Surely his bad luck has run out. He's going to draw something. A Rogue Refiner. Okay, he's going to get a look at another card here. I wonder if this is enough to bring out that Essence Scatter. Because David will be aware that he's just been playing land pass for the last few turns. And he hasn't been casting any removal. So it could be tempting. But I think, yeah, he's going to use it, okay. I was going to say, I think he's got the Rogue Refiner well checked. It's the Thopters he has to worry about. Okay, so I don't mind that play because it stops him getting the additional card draw. But those two Thopters are unchecked and Chandra is going to be dead in 2 turns because of it. Although he can attack next turn and then play a Bristling Hydra and represent lethal. So I think that the advantage bar's still very much with David. See what he can draw here. Oh, I think that should just about do it. Now this time please tick up your Chandra first. He can get in for 6. Put Ryan to 8. Yes, he's ticking the Chandra up here. So Harness Lightning. This time I think you've got to use a Harness Lightning, otherwise you lose the Chandra. Harness Lightning and then you can Gearhulk, yep, and get back something. You don't need to play the Gearhulk here. Harness Lightning down that, wait, why is he tapping mana? Oh, of course, you still have to pay for it. Okay, so Chandra survives. Even if we go to a game, the next game, I think the fact that Gearhulk's exiled by Chandra is going to be very useful information for Ryan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 5. Yep, so he's holding up 6 mana. He can create a Thopter with Will of Virtuoso if he wants to. And he's got Gearhulk. I think David's about to take a 2-1 advantage here. A little giveaway there, perhaps. Servant doesn't get in. What's going on, thinks Ryan. Of course, if Ryan doesn't find anything here, well, that'll check a Will of Virtuoso, but 2, 4, and 5. Yeah, Ryan is just dead to an end of turn. Gearhulk abrade the Thopter. So we're about to go to game 4 with David 1 win away from taking a 1-0 lead for his team. Is that an instant or a sorcery? Oh, okay, he's going to take down the Planeswalker. And he can... that's a nice play. He can take down the Planeswalker Chandra, discard his mountain. Yes, that's a handy draw. He's still dead on board. But it gives him the possibility of something. I don't believe there's a counter spell to stop that. Let me just check. No counter spells. Chandra is down. And a Hydra. Well, this will bring it... This will force him to probably play the Essence Scatter from the Gear Hulk. And he would still have a turn. Although, no, I don't think he will because he's got a Confiscation Coup. Just look at what Daryl's got here. Yeah, so I think your Gear Hulk, Essence Scatter, and then Confiscation Coup to the top turn, we're going to game 4. Wait, what am I talking about confiscation? He doesn't even have a confiscation coup. Okay, he can chump block that Gear Hulk. So he'll have a Glimmer of Genius to try and find something to remove the Thopter. Yep, gets the Essence Scatter. I don't think there's any draw in Ryan's deck that can save him here. So the Lonely Thopter staring down 11 damage on board. The Chandra's defeat did buy him a turn because plussing Chandra would have done the extra damage required. Oh no, it would have been too short as well. Still, I don't see any way out of this. See what he draws here. That'll do it. So we're going to game 4 now. Magma Spray the Thopter out the way. And we'll see if there's going to be any changes sideboard here for Ryan, as he's facing sudden death now. Yep, he's going to get in for the required damage, and we're going to game 4. I think we'll see a bit of sideboarding out of Ryan here because David has quite a transitional sideboard there where he takes on more of a control role. You look at all this, all these spectators watching the final. So he's 2-1 up. He's got to win one more match. As both players are sideboarding now. Ryan needing a win to stay alive. David 1 win away from putting his team 1-0 up in the final series. Just still waiting. They've named the game Waiting for Matthew. Okay. I don't know how many saying the gates are in Ryan's sideboard here. Certainly when he saw the Gear Hulks, I think it's going to encourage him to bring in Essence Scatter if he has them, and of course a Braid can answer a Gear Hulk as well. As they're back. Ryan will be on the play now. He's facing sudden death. We're looking at Ryan's hand. Yeah, it's not a bad hand. I think he keeps that. Just see. Looking at David has kept this one. And we're underway. Oh, Ryan's at the top of the screen this time. He doesn't. Ryan has a turn 2 player servant. Yep. Just stick with Ryan's hand for a second. See what he's drawn a Glory Bringer. I think he'll run out the servant here. Yep. As we switch back to David. David, I think you've got a. Well, he doesn't have a play anyway, so you hold up an Essence Scatter here. Even though he's got that servant. I think he has to adopt the. He's going to harness lightning down the servant here. It's a bit aggressive. Ryan draws a Supreme Will for the turn. What does he play here? Rogue Refiner. So I think Ryan is actually pretty well positioned here. This is going to be a tough one for... Depending on how David uses that Essence Scatter. Oh, he's got 2 of them now. I think he just has... He can't play that servant. I think... Oh... He's creating a board position here that's... I don't know about this line. I don't think he recognizes that he's taking the defensive control position. He's trying to race, but when you're not on the play in a mirror match, I don't really like the line. As you can see, Ryan picks up his own confiscation coup. So both players have confiscation coups now. I think it's Sheltered Thicket, Whirler Virtuoso, and 3 Thopters. No play there. Okay, so he's holding up Supreme Will. So if David goes for a Bristling Hydra, this is just going to be a massive blowout. He'll leave the defenses down for his Essence Scatter. I think you can get in here with the Servant because Ryan cannot cast 2 creatures on the next turn. David's missed his lane drop here as well. Now, what does Ryan do? He took the defensive position there with the Supreme Will. He's now in a position where he can Supreme Will or Whirler Virtuoso and hold up Essence Scatter. So this is quickly shaping up like it's heading towards game 5. And he comes again. So what's the play here? I think it's Will of Virtuoso, hold up his and scatter. No, he's just going to pass the turn again. He's going to use the Supreme Will to try and find another threat. It looks like David's going to use his own Supreme Will to try and find that 4th land drop. We'll see what he takes here. Yeah, he finds a forest. Well, that's an interesting line now. Does he run out the Hydra? He's still racing. What does he do here? 5 mana up for Ryan with 5 cards in hand. Surely there's something going on. Yeah, he passes the turn. Just a little cat and mouse game going on here. Do we see an end of turn Supreme Will here? I think he's got to cast a Supreme Will if he's he's got to cast a Supreme Will if he didn't play the Will of Virtuoso last turn. Just thinking about it, possibly querying with one of his teammates or 2 of his teammates. In terms of time, he's still about 14 minutes ahead of David. What's the turn here? He makes no turn. Okay. Get in with the Rogue Refiner first. Does this bring out the Magma Spray? It doesn't. Takes 3. Who's going to be the first here to jump? He Magma Sprays after damage. I'm not sure why that is the case. Takes down Rogue Refiner. Oh, he does it on the instep, okay. But again, Ryan just passes with 5 mana open. 2 Bristling Hydras. I think if he had another land, he might be tempted to go for it so he could still hold up the Essence Scatter. But now he's just gonna swing and pass the turn. Even though there's a lot of creatures on both sides here, this has turned into a bit of a control mirror. It's difficult to see who's in front because the two essence scatters largely check anything Ryan's got on that side, like a glory bringer. As he just cycles his sheltered thicket. Gets his own bristling hydra, 2, 4, 6. What does he do here? I think I'd be tempted just to, go the Will of Virtuoso. Just keep the pressure on. He's gonna, I think this will draw an essence scatter from Dawid. It does. Dawid's still short of mana though. Because you can see here Ryan's got both the Supreme Will and an Essence Scatter to check anything that Dawid has. David's going to play, he draws a land for the turn, 2, 4, 6. See if he wants to run out that Bristling Hydra. Yep, do it before combat. It's going to eat an Essence Scatter. The only problem, slight issue here, he's kind of telegraphing because he's not going to be able to play attack with the Servant now, which kind of sends a signal to Ryan. So the Bristling Hydra gets cancelled. Supreme Willed, sorry. And we'll see what Ryan can pick up here. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, this is just kind of a Mexican standoff. It's seeing who's going to be the first to bite. So he can actually, if he wants to, he can play a threat and hold up Essence Scatter. See if that's a line he wants to take. Yep, he's going to go for it. He still has a Bristling Hydra, and once this gets countered, the Hydra will be able to resolve. One option here, actually, for Dawid, as we look at David's hand, he's got the Essence Scatter, is to let it resolve. Actually, bizarre, both these players have identical hands. Both have a Bristling Hydra, a Confiscation Coup, and an Essence Scatter. That's bizarre. I would have been inclined to maybe let that resolve and then steal it with the Confiscation Coup. I'm just thoroughly confused now. We're looking at, I'll put it back on David's hand. Gets in with the Servant. Now this is going to eat the Essence Scatter, and he's going to have his own Hydra. So after all of that, toing and froing, counter wars, Ryan is going to come out of this with a Hydra. Dawid has one card left, it's a Confiscation Coup, but he can't take a Hydra with that. Just a delay there waiting for Ryan. Okay, so Ryan draws on a braid. So there's the Hydra. So this, I think, very much advantage Ryan now. Oh, this makes it interesting. Does he go for the... Oh no, it doesn't make it interesting because... Ryan can steal it with the confiscation coup. He's going for the glory bringer. He has to here. But Ryan just has so much energy to protect that Hydra. He actually, yeah, he's got David dead on board here. He can put 2 counters on the Hydra. Or even he swung that servant. I'm not sure what the point there is. Yeah, put 2 counters on the Hydra, then steal the glory bringer next turn with the confiscation code, and it's game over. Although the glory bringer will be tapped for a turn. Yeah, I'm not sure what that attack is there. Doesn't really make sense to me. He's got 1 green available. He's bluffing a blossoming defense possibly, but I don't imagine you'd play blossoming defense in either of these lists. Yeah, so Ryan's going to call his bluff, and the servant dies. And Ryan can now steal that glory bringer. I actually think David might have had the match if he had held that servant back, because Ryan's gonna steal the glory bringer, but David can actually steal it back, but it's gonna be stolen back tapped. This is going to put David to 7. Okay, he's got lethal on board. What can David draw here? Two, 4, 6. He's got to steal the coup. Got to use the confiscation coup to steal back the glory bringer to buy a turn. No. I think that's just game now. I mean, that can check the Bristling Hydra chump blocker for a turn. But Ryan actually has an abrade, so the abrade is going to finish this job. So we're going to a game 5 here. Yep, he concedes. So David will be on the play for game 5, the deciding match. Back to the sideboards. I'm not sure if the approaches change here. This is going to be the deciding one. So we've had an entertaining match first up. Game 5 now, winner takes all, to put their team 1-0 up. So far my recording time for this match is 1 hour and 42 minutes. And they're back into it for game 5. 1, 2, that's not a bad hand. That belongs to who? That's Ryan's hand. I think you keep that one. Daryl is keeping his hand. Also interesting. No counter spells on either side. Oh, an essence scatter, sorry, for Ryan. So I think I'd slightly like Ryan's hand a bit better here. Daryl on the play though. No removal spells for Daryl, that's the only concern. Again, sorry, it's early Sunday morning. David, no removal spells for David. See what he can draw here. 2 Rogue Refiners now. Ryan's draw for the turn. Oh, some spicy sideboard tech. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Lets him scry each turn. And he can pay to draw a card. So there's going to be a big card advantage engine. And he's got Chandra. So are we going to see a Rogue Refiner here? No. Bit surprised by that play. I think that'll... I don't know if you want to use your braid on that. As we look at Ryan's hand. You do want to use your braid on that, okay. So I think he plays Lifecrafter's Bestiary here. Although, importantly, David is on... I keep saying Daryl because of his name. It's Dactyl. Looks like Daryl at a quick glance. But David is on 3 mana, so he's threatening the Hydra next turn. So neither of these decks can really get a resolved Hydra off the board. So Ryan might be tempted to hold Essence Scatter here. Particularly on the draw, like we see in these matches, it looks to be quite important when you're playing on the draw to take the control position. I'm not sure if that gets reflected in sideboarding. So you'd sideboard in your control pieces on the draw and side in your more aggressive pieces on the play. I'm just looking at Ryan's. Ryan just deciding what to do here. He's got the choice out of a creature with a Rogue Refiner or a Virtuoso. Play that Bestiary. I think if you're going to go the creature route, maybe you play the Bestiary first to give yourself the card draw option next turn, or hold up Essence Scatter. As we look at Ryan's hand, he's going to go the Bestiary. No, sorry, not Ryan. We'll look at David's hand. David has got the Bristling Hydra, and he's got the double green to play it. So that was a big call, and now the Hydra is going to come down. Shields are down. So what's the response on the other side here? He's a point short of, I mean, a land short of playing Chandra. Chandra would just die being played into this Bristling Hydra, so it's not really viable. Looks to be a bit of lag there, perhaps. So now this is a big play, the big turn here for Ryan. You can see that bestiary, it gives him a scry every turn and upkeep. What's he going to do with his scry? Bottoms the card. Harnessed Lightning. No good here. He's just going to run out the Rogue Refiner, but that's just going to be a chump blocker. He doesn't have the green mana to pay for the bestiary. So just under a bit of pressure here. As we'll go back to David. I think it's advantage David now. If he wants to, he can harness lightning down that Rogue Refiner just to push through the damage. Then he have quite an advantage on board here. Oh, see, Ryan picked up a Nissa. Where did he get that from? On this board, Nissa might be a little bit slow here. No blocks. And just a pass of the turn, I suspect, yes. See what he's going to do with the bestiary this time. He does have an attune, so he can find some more energy for that. Am I looking at the right hand? Okay, so he kept the island on top there. Let me just confirm. Okay, I'm looking at David's hand. We just look at what Ryan, who's on the play. He has a Whirl of Virtuoso. He doesn't have the second red source for Chandra. But this is going to be important. Bestiary this time he can pay for. And he's actually going to have the energy to protect Chandra. Okay, this is a nice play here from David. He's going to harness lightning down the Virtuoso before with the energy trigger still on the stack. So you've got to let it resolve first. Virtuoso resolves, the energy trigger will go on the stack. Now you harness lightning it down. So you can't actually make a Thopter. I like that play. But this match slowly now, it's not looking good for Der Verlorene Haufen, who finished on top of the ladder. It's not looking good in Game 5 of Standard. David has the answers. Ryan just needs to stabilize. I think next turn I'd be inclined to hold up Essence Scatter and harness lightning down something. Because you can see the energy, 9 energy for David. So he can't even... He has no real way of getting that Bristling Hydra off the board. And it's only a pass of the turn. The one thing going in Ryan's favour slightly here is that David doesn't have a lot going on. He's got the Rogue Refiner that's going to draw him a card, but that's it. Nine energies. That's going to go to 11 here with the card draw. Finds a second Hydra. So now we're in that position where Ryan is far behind on board. He does have the Essence Scatter for the Hydra, but that resolved Hydra that's on board now, he just has no way to deal with. Up to, this will put him to 13 energy. Yeah, it's just a case of Ryan seems to have all the pieces, he just doesn't have, just that Bristling Hydra just makes it awkward. I think we're waiting for Ryan again. There's been a few delays on his side. Yeah, there was a delay there. I'm not sure what that was about. Possibly team discussion. So in come the thugs. How does he block here? I'm looking at the wrong side, sorry. No blocks, is it? Is he going to take 8 damage? He trades. I think another line that he had open there. Wait, what happened there? Why didn't that? Oh, he played a second Rogue Refiner. Okay, sorry. I was going to say another option he had open was to take the damage, so that the Rogue Refiner can double block that Bristling Hydra on the next turn. Because I think getting the Hydra off the board is the key here. You see, David's only got a Bristling Hydra left. Ryan does have a lot of cards, but 2, 4, 5. But he just has no way to stop that Hydra. He's actually staring down 8. No, Hydra. Oh yeah, Hydra can put 3 counters. So if David was particularly aggressive, he has lethal on board in his next turn. Although the Rogue Refiner will be shot down by Harness Lightning. There's just no viable plays. I think Ryan just has to pass the turn here. Take a hit from Bristling Hydra and shoot down Harness Lightning. Essence Scatter, and then use Supreme Verdict to find something. Like a Whirler Virtuoso to buy some time. See what David finds. Another Attune. up to 12 energy, and it's all that one bristling Hydra is just doing all the work here. I think the other big play was that Harness Lightning on the Whirler Virtuoso. So the thugs are going to get in again, and we've got a 2-turn clock. No, wait. Yeah, you want to attack with that. I think you tick it once only. You'd be expecting the Rogue Refiner to be shot down here. Nine damage on board. Oh, he's going for it. Actually, the Rogue Refiner can die. The Hydra can die here. I believe he made the same mistake when he faced me. A double Harness Lightning will kill this Hydra. This could be a massive misplay that has the potential to cost him the match right here. So he's a point short. Ryan just needs to hold his nerve here, and he's going to take down the Hydra. No, don't Harness Lightning now. Okay, he's Harness Lightning the Rogue Refiner. I think you had to do that at the end of turn. If he let him put one more counter on the Hydra, he could have got the Hydra. So he drops to 4. Yeah, I think a slight misplay there from Ryan. I think you take the 10, so you drop to 1, and then you Harness Lightning at the end of the turn, because I think the way that David was playing it, he would have put another counter on Hydra, and then with 2 Harness Lightnings he could have taken down the Hydra, and then used the Chandra next turn to take down the Rogue Refiner. So now he's looking for an answer. But he's not going to be able to find one because he doesn't have the mana. I think it's a Whirler Virtuoso to buy some time. Whirler Virtuoso a bust here. He's got his another Hydra on the other side for David. He can only find a land, a root-bound crag. 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6. Okay, so he's going to try this the other way around, but it's not going to work. He needed to get one more counter onto the Hydra there, and take it down last turn. I think if I've got my advantage bar here, okay, Vizier, that'll work. Copy the Hydra, but it's only going to buy you a turn. If I've got my advantage bar, I've got it slid to about 80% favouring David here. No, don't pay for it. Big call, but don't pay for it. He doesn't pay. And that can also be a tell for David. He's not taking the card draw there. He's going to hold up 2 mana. He needs to Essence Scatter the next Hydra. So he can put 3 counters on his own Hydra to make it up to 7 power. Yeah, he's got the play here. But then he'll be trading Hydras, and he can't really let this other Hydra resolve on the other side. Another land is the draw. So this is going to tap him out. David with no cards in hand. Ryan will be tapped out. So he can. David knows now that he can safely tick his Hydra up. Lethal on board. This is for the match. He can make that a 7-6, but David can make his Hydra up to a 9-8. And 9-8 will be out of range of any removal spells that Ryan has. Oh no, actually no. Ryan can Chandra minus on it and shoot down with Harness Lightning. So Ryan can still get out of this. No swings there. What is going on? He chose not to attack. Only lands in hand. I think Ryan is... This is swinging back in his favour now, incredibly. He's going to get the card draw, the scry from the bestiary. As we're past 2 hours for this match now. Scry's 1. I actually think Ryan's in not a bad position here. Keeps it on top. What was it? There's another Hydra. I think the corner is sharply turning now. Down comes the second Hydra. I think we're witnessing the Great Escape. Game 5 has come down to a cliffhanger finish. Some discussion going on. What do we do here? What is the play? I'm just seeing what his options are. He can Chandra. He might be considering going for Chandra. He can protect Chandra and try and win with the ultimate. That might be another way to go. Nissa would come down with 4 loyalty on it. So he does have a lot of options here. I actually wouldn't mind seeing the Chandra or the Nissa. He's going to go to Hydra, okay. I don't think you draw here. He doesn't draw. So Bristling Hydra will resolve. I think that he just, Ryan just has too many weapons now. The one card I can see David drawing to get himself out of this is a Wheel of Virtuoso. The evasion might just get him over the line.
Thank you.
We're just waiting for Ryan here. Okay. Now, over to David. 12 energy. Does Ryan want to attack here? If he's going for a Planeswalker ultimate as his win con, you hold back, but I think he's got a viable attack right now. That would go to a 9/8. He can pump his to a 4 counters. He could trade if he wanted to, but then he'd be leaving his own Hydra open. Actually, I think he could have attacked because he's got the Harness Lightning. He could finish off the Bristling Hydra. Oh, another land, so it's all going pear-shaped for David now. There'll be no viable attacks here. He can only pass a turn. He needs a Will of Virtuoso desperately. See what Ryan's draw for the turn is. Yeah, I've slid my advantage bar now right back in Ryan's favour, even though it's 20-4. I think unless there's a Will of Virtuoso off the top, I don't see how David can win this from here. Bottoms that card, so he draws a Confiscation Coup. That won't help. I would be going for Chandra here. Chandra would be a clock because the ultimate would be a very real threat. Yeah, he's gonna get aggressive here and attack. What's the play here? Okay, he's gonna try and get that Hydra off the board. And it goes unblocked, okay. So what's Ryan's play here? I think you go Chandra. I'd be dropping the Chandra here. He goes Nissa, okay. Well, oh no, I was going to say, Bestiary only scries 1. Nissa with 2 counters, so he can hold up Harness Lightning. So immediately Nissa will tick to 4. Scries 2. We'll see what he does with the 2 scries. Actually, even a Whirler Virtuoso here would be covered by Ryan, because he's got the Harness Lightning and the Chandra. So it looks like there's tough scries. Because he's going to scry 2 here, then at his upkeep he's also going to scry with the Bestiary. Okay, now we look at what he draw. Still only land, so I think this one is over. As we look at what the draw is here, he already scried, so he's going to keep that one on top. It's a Rogue Refiner. 1, 2, 3. I think it's Chandra time, honestly. He can plus Nissa, and then he can do the Chandra. He zeroes Nissa. Okay. I think if Nissa had gone higher to 6, and he could play any card in his deck. Although now he can also run out the Rogue Refiner and the Chandra. There's just a concern with David's internet time. $15 energy now. This is getting huge. Down to 12. Do you run out the other one or keep the... He's keeping Harness Lightning up, okay. Yeah, he has to keep up Harness Lightning because the other card that will just win it off the top is Glorybringer. Wonder if he just main phases a Supreme Will here to go for a Glorybringer. Down to 4, but this is really it's tough to watch for. I think it's Glorybringer or Bar. I think it's hope that hope that Ryan misplays and taps out, which I don't see how you can do that with 2, 4, 6, 8 mana. Well, if he dumps a Chandra and a Rogue Refiner, he can do that. So a Glorybringer would win it. but I suspect they're well aware of that on their side of the table. I don't think we're going to get the modern game because Michael has to leave at 10:45, I believe. It's 10:32 now. But it looks very much like Der Verlorene at Haufen are going to take standard 3-2. A scry here from Ryan. Tops both cards. Rogue Refiner time. We'll put him to 17. So he's going to draw that card. He's also going to get the draw from... He's going to draw 2 cards actually. So he scryed with Nissa, topped both cards, and then played a Rogue Refiner for Bestiary, so he gets both cards. One's a Harness Lightning. I think he's got the win on board. He can swing everything here. If he doesn't believe that David has anything, he's got win on board. Does he do it though? Again, only one. Any blocks? I 7 energy. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I don't know what he can find with Supreme Will. The only other thing I'm thinking of is if he had Chandra, he could have Supreme Willed last turn, plus her. Oliver's just joined us and he says, "Well, that's not a promising board state." Yeah, he could have plussed her last turn and then he would have lethal, so it would have forced Ryan to swing at Chandra this turn. But I don't think there's a block here. So much energy that Bristling Hydra's just dead. Yeah, Felix says you have to rewatch Game 5. It's a total comeback. There was just a turn there where I think he needed... David just needed anything. Any creature would have done it, and I think he just started hitting lands. Yeah, there's a long delay here because David's internet is shutting off any moment. Okay, he shuts off, and so Ryan will take the match. I'm going to call it to Ryan anyway because I didn't see any way out of that for David. And so they take standard 3-2.